Hello everyone and welcome back to Classic Beauty Over 60. I'm going to do an easy get ready with me and I'm doing a voiceover. So I am using my concealer. It is a Lancome. It's pretty thick and I'm doing the inside of the corners of my eyes underneath, and I'll do my eyelids as well because I've got some bluing and some discolored areas in there, some broken capillaries and some redness. And I like to put it in with my fingers. I like to just let the heat of my hands melt that into my skin. It gives me a much better coverage. I like to mix my foundation with Lumi lotion, and I like to get those mixed up and then put those on and apply them with my hands to help melt it in. Notice I didn't put any on my forehead. I put very light coverage on my nasolabial folds and near the crow's feet too. I don't put much there as well. I spray my beauty blender with the setting spray that I like. In this case, it's Too Faced. And I sheared that out, and now I'm just setting that with that beauty blender that's been sprayed. So notice I didn't put any on my forehead. I'm going to use some powder for that very lightly. I love Benefits Hoola, and I'm using that to carve out my cheekbone. You don't want to go too low as you get older. You want to stay above the hollow and below the top of your cheekbone. You don't want to go very deep with that because it makes you look a little bit older. I'm also carving out my chin. I'm going right underneath my earlobe and just going straight along the line of my chin, down my neck, so it's a little more cohesive. And that just kind of sets that back. It lets it recede a little bit, and so it doesn't look quite as saggy because I do have a saggy chin. So I'm just putting that in there, and the color is just perfect. You can't really see the line of demarcation or anything like that at all. It's a very light touch, and I love this angle brush to do that. And notice I'm just sweeping up. Notice I don't put it in the hollows of my temples because that will make me look older. As you age, those recede a little bit more anyway. I've got some beautiful Milani blush. You only want to put like about a finger's width strip right above what you had just done with your contour. And you just pat that in, and don't be shy. It really does sheer out quite nicely. I use that same angle brush and I just shear that out. You want to stay out of your crow's feet area and just above your contour. Just a thin little strip. You don't want to go past your iris line. If you were to draw a direct line underneath your iris down, straight down your cheek, do not go past that. That will make you look old and kind of haggard. So I'm just shearing that out with this brush, and look how beautifully it just melts right in there. It looks like it's part of it. I like to pick it up a little bit with my nose, my chin, and the areas that the sun would have naturally have hit. This Milani, I love Milani. It's just got some really great pigments to it. I'm using a large fluffy brush just where the sun would hit and on my ears so they don't look too white. And it's just a really nice glow. Usually you don't want to mix powders and creams, and I had that cream blush on, but this is such a light touch with this fluffy brush. And this will be the only thing I really put on my forehead besides that little tiny bit of contour at the very top that I did. And look, you can't really even, it doesn't look obvious that I don't have foundation there. So this is another type of concealer with a brightener in it. I put it under the troughs and spread it in with my fingers. I just sheared out near my eyeshadow to make sure I didn't go past the point that I wanted on the ends of my eyes. This is a shade 2 shades darker than my skin. It's a contour palette, and I have eliminated my jowl with this. You just take a eyeshadow brush and you just kind of find the puffy part of your cheek, bend your head down just a little bit so you can see it, and then just kind of circular motions, take that out, and you won't even see that. Well, I don't know what that was. Anyway, I am also taking Infallible. It's a 24-hour powder, waterproof, and I was cleaning up that bottom part of my contour to my jaw to make that look a little more chiseled. I love ColourPop. What I noticed with a lot of my eyeshadow palettes is that they're out of production, or they're at Macari, is the only place I seem to be able to find them. But I love these. It's not a glitter. It's more of like a sheen. It has hardly any fallout, and the color payoff is amazing. It is. Oh, I need to, as I get going, and I'll get it better set up, but I wish you could really see these colors. They are amazing. Yeah, this is kind of like more of a fall color, and I need to get a couple of more spring colors. I've got a lot of neutral palettes. So I've got hooded eyelids, which I'm trying to recede by using a color that's about, oh gosh, a couple shades darker than my natural skin, and in the kind of brick color family, just to recede those hoods. Then I'm going to use something that's for the actual highlight under the brow bone. I don't use a really light color there because, like I just tried to do, I'm trying to recede that. So I'm just going to put that above my demarcation of my last application and blend those together. The reason I'm not swiping is because as we get older, our skin on our lids is very fragile and loose, and it would just, the brush would just skip over those wrinkles. And so if you do circular motion and pat them in, it'll stay in. I like to use a smaller brush to put in the inside corners of my eyes to brighten them and make them come alive a little bit more. I've got another color that is just more of a sheen in the kind of opalescent oyster kind of a look. Very pretty. And I just put that on my movable lids. Now this color is gorgeous. It is a beautiful, beautiful red with kind of gold and blue-ish undertones to it. It's just amazing. I use that with my finger to get the biggest color payoff, and also it seems to stay on a little bit better this way. And I'm only going from the outside corner of my last lash in and up to the crease of my eye, and as the furthest in I go in is to about the middle of my iris. I am shearing out the corner of my eye to make that demarcation less noticeable from what I just did on my eyeshadow look there. I've got some red lipstick. I'm wearing red today.